All right, guys. I'm joined again by the great Rafael Lovato Jr. He was kind enough to come on and talk about the Bellator Light Heavyweight Grand Prix with us. Figured nobody better than the former undisputed champion. Thanks, man. We appreciate you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to be back on. And yeah, I'm excited for these fights.
Before we get into it, I just wanted to see how things have been with you since last time we had you on. How's life treating
Really well. Survived last year, made it through, and we're off to a great start in 2021. I've already competed in jiu-jitsu. I did a back-to-back little run in Texas where I did a tournament in Dallas, and then I did a super match in Austin last weekend, and was success. I won my divisions in Dallas. I won the super match in Austin. My team also had very strong performances as well at a couple events the same weekend, and yeah, that's it. Just training hard, and business is moving well again finally, and life's good. I'm happy, no complaints.
Awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't much of a fan of jujitsu, but since we've been communicating a little bit, I've been following your career, man, and I'm really getting into it. So I'm happy to see you doing well. It's good to see you back on the mats, man.
Thank you. It's time to get you on the mats too.
That was one of my 2021 goals was to start training jujitsu, but everything's been kind of locked down. It just recently opened up back here in Canada, like about a month ago.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Once things are good, when all the vaccines roll out and whatnot, I will definitely be getting on the. I will keep you updated with that.
Which city are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in London, Ontario. It's 2 hours south of Toronto.
Okay. Is Chisholm, is that nearby you?
I don't believe so. No.
Um, so I have an affiliate school
Okay.
in Chisholm, which is in between Toronto and Detroit.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, look it up. If that's not far from you, that would be a great place for you to go for sure.
I'll definitely look into that. I'll let you know.
Awesome.
All right. So the first matchup. Don't mind my horrible writing, guys. It's messy. I don't even know if you see it, but I put it on a dry erase board. The first matchup in the top left corner, we had Vader versus Machida, and it's actually a rematch. How'd you see that one going?
Oh wow. You know, Machida, he's now over 40. He looked really good in his last fight against Mousasi. I actually thought that he won that fight. It was razor thin, and he ended really strong. But I think Vader, he's definitely leveled up a lot since their previous fight. His striking, his power, his hands, and of course he's a great wrestler too. So it all just kind of depends on how easily Vader can get a hold of Machida. Probably put him up against the cage and blend that wrestling. If he just strikes with Machida, I think Machida could do really well. But it's tough to call. Vader is probably like in his prime right now, and Machida is probably slightly past his prime, but still a technician. I mean, I'm a big fan of both those guys, but I would give the edge to Vader with the youth, the size, and a few more tools in the bag, being able to be powerful on the feet, and then also have the wrestling. But I'm definitely not counting out Machida in that fight, and I'm assuming it's probably a 3-round fight since he doesn't have the belt anymore, and so that's definitely a big edge to Machida because I could see Machida keeping the rounds really close and maybe edging out one or two for sure. So super hard call. If I had to put money, I'd probably put on Vader though.
Okay, gotcha. I believe it's actually 5. I think because Nemkov is in the tournament, he has to fight 5 rounds. I think they're all going to be doing 5, if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah. If that's the case, then I think more of an edge to Vader with the youth and the size. But yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I thought Nemkov, his fights would be a title fight every time, and so he could lose the belt, and then it goes on to the next person. But if they're all 5, then I would favor the younger Bader.
I agree. I do think we saw, though, in Bader's last fight against Nemkov, the cut back down to 205 was tough on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how his body bounces back, because it'll be more sustained time at the 205 weight class this time.
Yeah, good point.
So we moved on Bader. We're going on to Corey Anderson versus Yagshi Miradov. I had no idea who Yagshi Miradov was, so I had to go look into him a little bit. When I saw big overhand right, a little bit undersized for the division, very good grappler. Personally, I think he drew the toughest matchup for him in this, because he's so wrestling dominant. Corey Anderson of the lot seems to me like he is the one that tends to use his wrestling the most. Might not be the best wrestler per se. That would be either Phil Davis, I think, or Yoel Romero. But I think Anderson uses his wrestling the most, so I think it's a tough matchup for Yagshi Miradov.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Meredov either. I mean, anyone with a last name like that is probably going to be super tough, though. So, definitely can't count that out, and especially at that weight class, a lot of power and all those guys. But experience-wise, and with that wrestling credentials, I would just lean towards Anderson. He looked great in his Bellator debut, vicious ground and pound, and like I said, he's got the experience, so he's probably going to be the one to take that fight.
Yeah, I agree. So that rolls on to the other side of the bracket. We got the champ Vadim Nemkov taking on Phil Davis in what's another rematch.
Yeah, remind me, how did the first fight go?
Phil Davis got pretty not dominated, but he lost pretty clearly the first and second round. But then he started doing work in the third round. So that's why people are pretty interested with this being the first rematch of his career, because it's a 5-round fight. Now people think maybe tides could change going late. So it's a tough one for me to call.
Yeah, I knew that Nemkov won, but I couldn't remember if he finished it or not. So, it'd be hard for me to go against Nemkov right now, though. Just the run that he's on, the momentum, and becoming the champ, for sure, he's even more motivated, more inspired to work that much harder, and really dominate and make the statement that he is the best. But Phil, so long, and has the wrestling, and he mixes it up very well. He doesn't get too sidetracked into just wrestling or just striking. He mixes it up well. And he does have some good jiu-jitsu. Phil Davis can submit you. He's got a great kimura. So, like I said, it'd be hard for me to go against Nemkov right now. But if there was going to be an upset, I mean, that's probably got to be the one. I think everyone else that I've said, Bader's probably going to be the favorite. Anderson's definitely going to be the favorite. So I don't see those guys getting upsetted. But this one, you never know. There could be an upset. But I don't think I could go against Nemkov right now. And I would put my money on him.
Yeah, I completely agree. Coming into before the Izzy Jan Blachowicz fight, I thought Nemkov was the best light heavyweight on the planet, and I think the winner of this tournament will cement himself as the best light heavyweight on the planet. And I do think Nemkov is gonna get the job done against Davis, and we'll see what happens in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So the fight that everyone's been talking about, Anthony Rumble Johnson taking on Yoel Romero. What a crazy fight.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really happy they did that right off the bat. And just make fireworks, give something everyone's excited for. Just crazy power in that matchup. The thing about Romero, he really hasn't wrestled in a while. Doesn't wrestle too much in his fights. He's kind of just became more of a striker. Rumble is kind of the same. He has the wrestling background as well, but just vicious KOs. But it's been a long time. How many years out of the game has it been for Rumble now? I mean, at least 3. So that'll be interesting as well. This one's definitely the hardest one for me to call. I kind of want to lean on Rumble, but lean towards Rumble. Romero spent the majority of his career at 185, and it is a big difference. 185 to 205. I don't think he's going to be really undersized, but it's still a different vibe, from kind of being the one that's really, just jacked, and to looking across and being like, oh man, that guy's pretty jacked too. It's a little different. He's not going to be the bigger, more powerful guy. And Rumble is definitely, he's fought so many monsters already. So, I want to lean towards Rumble, but
Sure.
with that kind of power between those two guys, it's more of a toss up. And the fact that Johnson hasn't fought in a while, could maybe get a little bit, his rhythm, his timing a little off.
So final pick, Rumble. Just so I want to make sure we get it done right.
Yeah, I guess so. People think that I'd be good at this kind of stuff, but I've lost plenty of bets on fights before, so don't trust my opinion. But yeah, I guess I would probably go for Rumble.
Sometimes it's the more you know, man. It's like you overthink it, and then it's just like, yeah, the sports bookie. Sometimes they overthink it and they mess it up themselves too. So I agree.
Yeah.
I completely. For me, I'm leaning Yoel though on this one, and here's my reason why. Everyone is saying Rumble's so much bigger. There's never a point in Yoel's life he ever would have made 170.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but that was a long time ago. And Rumble, he was like 240, even more, before he started getting back in shape. And I don't know. If you're going just by size, Rumble's definitely the bigger guy.
Right. Yeah, especially because he's been on up the heavyweight whatnot. Of course, I agree.
Yeah.
The bigger guy. But do you think that the age is going to play a factor? Do you think Yoel being 44 is going to slow down at all? He hasn't looked any sign of slowing down in the last year or so.
No, he's not slowing down. Maybe he's more conservative with his energy and his explosiveness, so he doesn't get tired. I don't know. This fight, this the most evenly matched, anything can happen kind of fight in the tournament for sure.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Rumble's a slight favorite right now at this point. So then we got in the semifinals, Bader versus Corey Anderson. That's an interesting fight.
It is. Man, that's a tough one. I think Bader definitely has the power. More powerful striking, but super even matchup. Man, I don't know. I think if I had to put money, I'd put it on Bader, but super close. Very similar with a wrestling background and good strikers, but I think the knockout power of Bader could be a bit of a game changer there.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I would slightly favor Bader, but that's a coin toss for me as well.
Yeah.
And then Rumble Nemkov. That's fireworks all over as well.
Yeah, it is. Man, I feel like something's going to happen somewhere, right? Every time in a tournament, there's always some upset. There's always a surprise. And who knows, I think after time away, and maybe coming to a new phase in your life and maybe being a little more inspired and mature, having the right people around you and being more solidified, it could end up for something special for Rumble in this tournament. So I think he's definitely the one we're all really curious about, to see, is he really, because he was one of the ones that we were thinking that could really give Jones a tough fight back in the UFC. So I think there's going to be an upset somewhere, and I guess I'll just put it right there, just to mix it up a little bit. And I think the champ isn't going to lose the first fight, but maybe Rumble could do something.
So I'm going to take Nemkov just because I think Yoel's going to beat Rumble, so I got to stick to my guns on that. But in a straight up fight between Nemkov and Anthony Rumble, I can't even really picture it. I don't know how it would go. It'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm. I think Nemkov matches better with Romero. You know, I think Rumble's just a tough matchup for everybody. You know, his only thing is his gas. So, but you know, like I said, maybe all this time he's got himself in good shape. Been in a good routine for quite some time. I mean, this has been talked about for a little while. And, you know, he's probably had a good year plus to prep. So hopefully the weight is coming off well. And like I said, I'm just going to throw an upset out there, and I might just take Rumble all the way, man. We'll see.
Okay. So that brings us to the finals. We got Ryan Bader taking on Anthony Rumble Johnson, and that would be a rematch actually as well.
Yeah, that's right. How did the first one go down?
I believe Rumble knocked him out in the first round. I believe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But then Bader submitted him at Submission Underground about a month or two ago.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
A little different. Like I said, I think I'm just going to go Rumble all the way. You know, the Sanford MMA team, you know, they're doing great work. They've been together a long time, even though they had different team names and a little bit of a different squad back when they were Black Zillions. You know, they've been around, and Henry Hooft and all those guys. You can see that they've all. I mean, look at Gilbert Burns. Look at how far he's developed and gone in his career. You know, and Anthony's not like a new member of the team. He's been around a while, so I think he's got the right people. And like I said, that time away, refocus, renewed energy and inspiration could be something really special. So I think he's just an extremely tough matchup for everybody. And if he's on fire, he's gonna go all the way through. So if he gets past Nemkov, I'm gonna pick him to win.
Okay. So you got Anthony Rumble Johnson as the champ, the light heavyweight Grand Prix champion. That'd be crazy. What do you think? You think if he did win that, if hypothetically if Rumble wins that, do you think he would move up to heavyweight or what? Do you think he'd stick around?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, if he beats Bader at 205, might as well, and try to be the new double champ. That would be pretty insane. Be super inspirational to see him come back and go on that kind of run. And yeah, I just love that that kind of story. And so I'm gonna root for him all the way through. But I'm expecting some really sick fights along the way, and a lot of technique. You know, these are big guys that all are very well rounded, with a lot of technique, great skills all around. So Bellator, I think, is doing an amazing job with this one, and I'm pumped for it to get underway here in a few weeks.
Yeah, me too. I will bet you 100 push-ups on the Yoel Romero and Rumble Johnson fight if you want.
Oof, 100's a lot. Do I have to do it straight?
No, just 100 push-ups.
Okay. All right. Let's
You're
go.
on?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
Just a couple quick questions. I'll get you out of here. So, what are your thoughts on the Grand Prix overall? Do you like the style, or do you prefer a non-tournament based format?
No, I think it's great. I think it's awesome because everyone gets an even chance. You know, it's very clear your mission. It's like, okay, you want to be the champ. Here it is. You know, you got to win 3 fights, and you can walk away with the belt. And you know, it's great for the fans. Gives us all something to look forward to. Yeah, I love the idea. I was definitely interested in something like that happening. I mean, I felt like I was in a tournament whenever I was fighting for Bellator. It's just like, every fight I was going up in caliber of opponent, and that helped me um, kind of clean out my path and solidify myself as a number one contender. So I like that energy, and growing up in jiu-jitsu tournaments, um, I just love the tournament idea. Nothing feels better than cleaning out a division, and being able to say I'm the best. No one can say anything. So I think it's exciting, and much props to Bellator for putting this together.
Yeah, I completely agree. It takes away the politics too. So it's like, okay, this guy's a big personality, but his skills may not match it completely. It doesn't matter. We're all going in the same. We all are equals in this.
Exactly. And maybe they'll be doing something like that. I know they're still finishing the featherweight one now, but it sounds like they might do a new one. It'd be interesting. They haven't done one for the middleweight division yet, so I definitely would have my eyes on that one, of course. But yeah, I love the tournament, the tournament format all around.
Okay. And second last thing I want to say is, were you surprised to see Gegard Mousasi wasn't in it? I thought for sure with the whole champ situation on the table, the way it's kind of been like a big thing lately, and there's no one really in the middleweight for him to fight right now. There's no one name that pops off, maybe Vanderford, but I thought that was the way to go.
Salter
Salter
for sure. Yeah. It's time for Salter to have his shot. I mean, he was undefeated for like 7 years before he lost to me. He was on a big run, and I kind of took away his chance. But since then, he's got a couple victories, and he beat Costello, who's Mousasi's training partner. It was a really tough fight, but he did win that fight. And I mean, Mousasi even said that Salter was next in his post-fight interview. So that's the fight that I think makes the most sense there. Am I surprised that Mousasi wasn't in it? Not really. It's one thing to just fight the champ and go for double champ status. It's a whole nother thing to be thrown into a tournament and have to go through 3 205 guys in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, he would be undersized, and that would be, a lot of tough fights to do in a row. So, I think the tournament is the way it should be, and if they want to play around with something afterwards with Mousasi, they could. And in the meantime, I'd like to see him defend his belt against Salter. I think that's the fight to make there, and give those other couple guys like Tokov, maybe put Tokov with Vanderford or whatever, and make a new number one contender for later on down the line.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into Salter. I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, you don't know John Salter?
No, man.
He finished the ex-champ, the champ before Carvalho.
McGeary?
No, Brandon, the big wrestler guy. He finished that guy with a triangle, and he went on a run. I mean, he submitted and beat a lot of guys. Great grappler, great wrestling, southpaw, some pretty decent stand up with his southpaw stance, and just tough, super tough guy. I mean, we went 3 rounds. I finished him in the third, but it was probably 1-1 going into the third, and it was a very tough fight. And I just got a lot of respect for him, and he deserves that chance 100%. Mousasi's a tough fight for sure, but I would love to see Salter get his opportunity, and I think he could definitely push Mousasi for sure. And like I said, he deserves that opportunity, and then that gives them time, if to develop a new number one contender or play with moving Mousasi up to face the winner of the tournament.
Gotcha. Okay, well, shout out to John Salter. And the last thing I want to say is, how do you see a former opponent of yours, Kevin Holland, versus Derek Brunson going this weekend?
Probably Kevin.
Yep.
All the momentum's on his side. He's definitely developed a lot since I fought him. I mean, he was a pretty young kid. I think he was only like 22, 23 maybe. His stand-up's good. He's dangerous. in his grappling has improved. I think Brunson's definitely going to have to wrestle. That's going to be the bit of the question there is, can he keep Kevin down and not get too tired and let Kevin kind of start to take over on the stand-up. So I'm leaning towards Kevin, but it'll be good to see him get this challenge. And he's a funny guy. He came in as a last-minute replacement when we fought, and he had his swagger back then, and I was kind of like, I don't want to say he was talking trash or acting disrespectful or anything like that, but you could definitely sense he's kind of maybe a little overconfident or cocky or whatever. And he even said to me after the fight, he's like, "Oh, your jiu-jitsu's better than I thought." and I thought that was funny, but deep down, I'm a fan of the kid. He literally fights anyone, anytime, and he's game, and it's good to see his success. He's worked hard for that, and he earned it. So I think he's exciting. Like I'm interested to see he wins this fight, where he ends up in the mix, and maybe he could be a bit of a, not really a dark horse anymore, but he could maybe make some moves,
Yeah, and the thing is, the better he does, the better that reflects on your win. So that's also a good thing.
Yeah, it works out good, doesn't
it? Well, anything you want to tell our audience or your fans before we get you out here?
No, I mean, just appreciate all the support. Thanks for having me on. Good to talk. Shout out to Bellator, and that's about it. They can follow me on my social media. I'm doing more jiu-jitsu these days, obviously, but got some big matches in the works. Coming back into no-gi grappling, so I'm excited for that. I've been kind of doing more gi this past year, but I travel, teach all over, and working on releasing this Timeless Jiu-Jitsu project for all the jiu-jitsu practitioners and students out there, to help them, and getting that underway. So got a few other things in the works, and who knows, maybe I'll end up back in the cage one day as well. So haven't stopped working on that, and this could be the year. So but I just appreciate all the support, and thanks for all the love to all my fans and supporters, and that's it.
All right, we will get you out here. Thanks again, Rafael. We'll be in touch.
All right, take care.
Take care.